Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. Yes, my fellow Snyder bros, look at this. You probably can't read it properly, but I'm going to read it for you. Shout out to Cosmic Book News. Now, I know not everything a Cosmic Book News says is valid, and I think they stray on the right wing side of the political argument, but that doesn't matter. I don't care what people's politics are. Sometimes this site I find as accurate and right, and sometimes it speaks utter nonsense. But I'm going to read what the guy, or whoever he is who's running this site, posted on X Twitter, because I find it very, very interesting. Today we're going to discuss the secret war between Zack Snyder and James Gunn for the heart and soul of DC Studios. Because make no mistake, everyone, here's the civil war. This is what's happening. Snyder wants control of DC Studios. He knows WBD, Warner Brothers Discovery, is being sold. This is a big opportunity for Snyder to finally finish his arc and make a bunch of other DC movies. Something I would welcome personally. James Gunn has broken my heart as a DC fan. I feel betrayed by him. That Superman film he made was a disgrace. But anyway, let's have a look at the details of this secret war between James Gunn and Zack Snyder. It's all really started because Zack Snyder has a presence on Instagram, and he's using this presence to fight for the heart and soul of DC Studios. And Gunn has been leaking through Access Media this week false hype to try and counter the hype that Snyder's created by posting pictures of his Batman, his Superman, his Joker. You get me? So let's give this a read, because I think this is really, really surprising and interesting at the same time. I mean, Snyder used some interesting tactics to ingratiate fans to help him fight release the Snyder Cut, but this is something else. Let's take a look at this. Zack Snyder backs fans calling out James Gunn's Superman box office collapse. So very, very interesting. So let's read all of this. This is from Cosmic Book News. Shit, here we go again. Zack Snyder has liked yet another post on Instagram, and this one takes a direct swipe at James Gunn's struggling Superman reboot. Snyder Bros on X caught the interaction from back in August and immediately circulated the screenshot, adding more fuel to the ongoing debate over which filmmaker delivered the better Superman. Well, it's Snyder. You know, even if you don't like Snyder's Superman, Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, who's also on the right side of the political argument, I don't agree with his political takes, but he said this: he doesn't like Man of Steel, and originally he said Man of Steel is a great alien invasion movie, but not a good Superman movie. He did say that he thinks Man of Steel is a better Superman movie than James Gunn's Superman. And that's obvious, whether you like Zack or not. It's something that's easy to admit. You know, in the end, it doesn't matter if you like someone or not. You've got to be honest about this situation. James Gunn's Superman movie was trash. I'm sorry, James, again, this is not personal, but it was trash. What the hell did you think you were doing? Anyway, the image compares Henry Cavill's Man of Steel box office to Gunn's Superman. Cavill's film made $670 million in 2013, without adjusting for inflation, while Gunn's movie pulled in a much lower $616.6 million, more than a decade later. 585 at the time it was 585 at the time Snyder liked the post. Even with ticket prices nearly double, when adjusted for ticket sales, the gap becomes massive. Man of Steel sold over 82 million tickets. Gunn's Superman sold around 36 million. Fans are pointing to this as the real measure of popularity, and Zack Snyder seems to agree. So, someone said on X Twitter yesterday, Zack needs to realise that his likes are public. Now, I don't think that Zack Snyder is a stupid man. I think he knows that his likes are public. I think he probably knew that this like would be seen, or maybe he didn't. Maybe he just innocently liked it. But it's a very passive-aggressive like, isn't it? Now, you know, look what they took from Zack. He gave us a beautiful artistic Superman movie. A beautiful artistic, you know, a big swing Batman versus Superman movie. He didn't want to make a Batman versus Superman movie. The studio made it. There were other plans for a Superman sequel and to extend the DCEU, the DC Extended Universe. But within the guise of doing a Batman vs Superman movie, he created something artistic and very, very special that has lasted the test of time. Then there's Zack Snyder's Justice League. Snyder cut a beautiful 4-hour epic Justice League movie. I dare anyone to ever make a Justice League movie, even an Avengers movie, as artistic and as beautiful as that. Again, even if you hate Snyder, that is undeniable, but we have to continue this discussion about this secret war. It's not just something that Cosmic Book News has beautifully identified and well done to him. It's also something that the Press of Reason, the YouTuber, did in a video, which I was checking out this morning. And basically, again, I'm on the money. See, when I say something, people think I'm a bullshitter, I'm looking for clickbait. How many times have I told you? I'm a very wealthy man. I'm not here for clicks. I'm not here to go viral. I've been on this platform since 2018. Some of you will be able to confirm that. To the naysayers. Have I ever gone viral? I've had a couple of videos, reached the Ks, right? But mostly, I mean, up to recently, my videos were getting 50 to 100 views and about 5 to 10 likes. And then when I did that video, where I came out honestly and said that I had seen an early screening of Superman and gave my view, then my views started to average around 60 likes, 300 to around 500 views a daily episode. And that's great, but I don't make any money from that. But I will say this, despite my channel not having the biggest views or the biggest sub count, my subs always go up, even if it's just a little bit and not down. That shows you that you guys out there, the movie fans, the TV fans, the DC fans, the whatever fans, appreciate an honest guy. The equipment I'm using right now is an ordinary laptop. Attached to it is a €50, 50 quid HD camera with a built-in mic. You can tell the mic's not great. You can tell the camera's not great. But if you've been a loyal, faithful subscriber, you can remember the piece of shit I was using before. There was one I was using, was literally in black and white, right? But I'm not going to spend money on equipment. I'm not going to do that. It's not worth it. There's better things to do with my money, right? I can give it to charity, which I do. You know, I want to give it to starving children. I want to give it to, you know, female charities, lots of different charities. People who have suffered rape, alcoholism. That's what I want to do with my money. That's what I do with my money. So I'm not going to spend it on equipment. I don't want to, as I say, I don't want to go viral. I'm here to connect to people like you who genuinely are as passionate as me about stories, films, and television. I rewatched some really old stuff, Little House on the Prairie, Highway to Heaven, Friends, and the people who made that stuff really cared. The people in the industry now don't really care. There are a few, to be fair, that do, like Zack Snyder. So whether Snyder purposely, like this, that exposes James Gunn's Superman for being a flop and a lot less successful than Man of Steel, right, or not, it's clearly his opinion. He could just be a guy liking something on Instagram, and that's okay. After all, he did direct Man of Steel. He's proud it's doing well. Maybe it wasn't him liking it, wasn't him being toxic towards Gunn. But whatever the case, from the first day Zack Snyder started off his Instagram account, it really has lit the blue touch paper. And it was always going to do that. But Zack's not stupid. He's got a Twitter account. He's got an ex-Twitter account. He sees what people are saying. He sees what his fans are saying. He knows his Superman and Batman and his Joker posts and all of that. And him saying he's only just getting started. He knows what people are fucking saying. And he hasn't stopped. He hasn't clarified anything. He hasn't said, look guys, I'm just posting this stuff because I made these films. I would love to keep on making more of these films, but I don't know what's going to happen. He hasn't said that. So it's quite fucking clear that he hates Gunn's movie. He liked that post on fucking purpose, and he ain't ashamed of it. Good for you, Zack. Zack Snyder, you are a wonderful human being. You really are. You're a great father. You're a great movie maker. And what WB did to you, what people have done to you, said about you as a parent, as a filmmaker, is disgusting. And for you to still be around and still be the wonderful man that you are, you're one of the few people in this entertainment industry that I love and respect. And I love your movies because they're compelling, they're dark and they're serious, but they do have a lot of love and soul in them as well. So I love Zack Snyder's movies. I'm not ashamed of that. I remember back in the day admitting to loving Zack and his movies was an excuse for people to bully you, right? They call the Snyder fans toxic. You created, like some of the toxic people, the minority of toxic Snyder fans, and they are a minority, but there's toxic fans in every fandom, by the way. You made them. You people who bullied Snyder, bullied his movies, bullied anyone who loved BVS. You created the toxic element of the Snyder fandom. So you've only got yourselves to blame. But now everyone's also admitting that the Gunn Bros are much worse than the negative element of the Snyder Bros. And I add the minority of toxic fans in the Snyderverse fandom. I support what the Snyderverse fandom are doing. I think they're a very sophisticated, smart fandom. They have been fighting. They started off fighting Jeff Johns, John Berg, Walter Hamada. Look what they did to them. Look what they did to them. You're not telling me that's not a sophisticated group of people? These are husbands, wives, ordinary people. But they're fighting for a director that they believe in. And I believe in the Snyder fans, the good ones, the ones who don't bully other people or bully each other, right? I believe in you. I'm one of you, right? But I'm also a fan of TV in general, movies, and DC films in general, and even some Marvel films, right? And different films you've never heard of, probably Hallmark films, right? I generally love movies and TV, but I'm very angry and disappointed with what's happened with the industry today. But there is a secret war between James Gunn and Zack Snyder, and let me make it absolutely fucking clear. Zack Snyder has experience of going to the mattresses with WB and people in the industry. James Gunn doesn't know how to fight an online war like Zack Snyder does. He will use the tactics that he's always used, and his fans will follow him anywhere because Zack Snyder is fighting the good fight in a good, pure way. How has James Gunn been behaving this week to counter what Zack Snyder's doing? Oh yeah, getting Access Media to create false hype with leaks about a Brainiac in his Man of Tomorrow, which him or the studio haven't confirmed. The V for Vendetta series, which he and the studio haven't confirmed. A Superman movie spin-off starring Jimmy Olsen, which he and the studio haven't confirmed because it gives them deniability. They're using the old WB tactics against Snyder, and like WB and those old tactics and those the former leadership of WB, he's crashing and burning. I told you, Snyder knows how to fight a war in a good, clean way. Zack Snyder is a very intelligent man, but it seems to me that James Gunn isn't a very intelligent man. Many moons ago, he admitted he didn't want to direct Superman, right? Basically. And he took his time and, what's his name? His partner, his co-CEO, Peter Safran, had to pressure him into doing it. They had to force him to write that Superman movie, otherwise they wouldn't have let him write and direct the Suicide Squad movie, which is a film I actually like. That's the sad thing here. He's made 4 really good comic book movies, including the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy, that are good art, that are entertaining, that do have something to say. So how did we go from those 4 movies to Superman? It doesn't make sense, does it? But this is what happens, right? When you sell your soul to the fucking devil. And James Gunn sold his art form, his industry, his love for film to the devil. That devil is David Zaslav.